Greetings and welcome to the Pampering Myself podcast, an advocacy for self-care. We'll laugh, we'll cry, and most importantly, we'll learn that you can't pour from an empty cup. You'll hear stories, interviews, and conversations which will empower you in living your best life. Hello, podcast listeners. There's an old saying that time flies by when you're having fun. Well, you know what? I didn't realize it, but it's been a whole year this past June when I first launched the Pampering Myself podcast. Thanks to Spotify for congratulating us last month on publishing our 25th episode, and that's what brought it to my attention. I have to say it's been fun, it's been educational, uplifting, all that in a bag of chips. Now, I never really knew what all that in a bag of chips meant, but it has been an awesome experience. So I thought, in recognition of our 1-year anniversary, I'd like to highlight a few of last year's episodes, if you don't mind. So if you haven't had a chance to listen in, please do so. You may be inspired. Some of our guests, or all of our guests, I should say, have been awesome. Now, we officially launched Pampering Myself on June 3rd, 2019, and that episode was titled The Launch. There I shared my story on why I decided to start this podcast and what it was that I hoped to accomplish. In episodes 3 and 4, it was a series. In 3, I shared some of the most important attributes of living your best life, self-care, self-love, the things that we defined ourselves as living our best life, and what does that mean? And in episode 4, it was all about massage therapy. I miss those days. COVID-19 has shut down everything. But don't worry, as soon as possible, I'll be booking a full day spa because this sister needs a full day of pampering, like most of us. In episode 9 was about art therapy in the form of relaxation. My guest Rosie amazed me prior to our interview by showing me her wonderful works of art beautifully displayed in her home. I mean, it took at least 35 or 45 minutes for us to go through all of the different types of art that she has. She is truly gifted, not only with her hands, but Rosie is a storyteller who has traveled the world. And I have to thank Rosie also for getting me involved in crafting. It was basically at a storytelling event that we were at, and she showed me just some t-shirts that she had made for her and some co-workers. And I was intrigued by it, and that's opened up a whole new world for me of crafting. So I'm beyond t-shirts now, and I have Rosie to thank for that. But when I was there at her house, I told her I couldn't get involved in all that other stuff. The things that I do now cost me enough money and time. Episode 10 was a really emotional, I have to say emotional, but not from my guest perspective. Colette and her sister shared some great memories of how they celebrate their mother who had passed some years ago. We know the loss of a mother or any loved one is hard to accept, but they found solace in how they chose to remember her. It was a very warm-hearted interview, and they so lovingly talked about their mother. So I'm going to say, if you're struggling with death of a loved one, I strongly suggest you listen to how they dealt with this in this episode, or if you know someone who has. Certainly in COVID-19, there has been a lot of people who have gone on due to this terrible illness. And then in episodes 11, 12, 13, and 14, um, I titled that series Seeing Things from a Different Perspective. We were preparing for 2020, changing one's mindset, offering tips on how to achieve your goals and reach your destinations, and going after those bucket list items or things that you inspire to do. Boy, we could not have seen that coming, could we? 2020 turned out to be something different. Not exactly what we expect, but maybe those episodes could be looked at as they were titled, Seeing Things from a Different Perspective, because we should not lose hope or our dreams or our aspirations. We have to continue to move forward in spite of. So it was a very good lesson, I think, that we're all learning now in challenging times. And I think that those tips that I offered would go in 20, regardless of how we planned it or not. Then episode 21, I talked about knowledge is power, all the essential minerals to be able to live healthy internally. Pampering myself is not all about just external. It is about mind, body, and soul. And so in order to live healthy, we need to understand how minerals and vitamins, which was episode 22, affects our life. And so it's really important that we get a understanding of that. My daughter is now getting an understanding of that. Turning 40 this December, she has decided to go vegan. And she does have diabetes and has not really taken, I think, her health seriously in the past. And she's noticing things that were happening. But now, almost 4 weeks into it, she's noticed a change for the good, a change of not eating certain types of food, of paying attention to quantity and quality of food. So those things are important. She's now taking vitamins and understanding the importance of vitamins and minerals. And in episode 23, our first male guest, my great nephew, who's in law school, final year of law school, he'll be starting. He guided us through a conversation of the times we're in and the Black Lives Matter movement, along with 4 or 5 other family members. And it was very interesting. As the media suggests that we have these conversations with different age groups, and all ages were represented at the table. Our youngest was 18 years old, and then we had 39, we had 42, we had 49, and of course, WA. And so it was a very interesting conversation. Not only did we have a representation of different ages, we also had a representation of different cultures, because my great niece is married to a Caucasian. And she shared in that episode some of the things that her children are challenged with because they are of mixed race. And of course, our last episode was talking about COVID-19, a different perspective. My guest, Tiza, who had become very ill the first part of the year, she's not counted in the COVID numbers, and we'll never know, but she had a difficult time, and she was hospitalized and did survive, thank God. But those are some of the difficult times, and how we managed our health and how we get through things, and whether or not we really know what's going on in this world. So I just wanted to highlight a few episodes. Of course, there are 25, and I only highlighted a few. I'm going to make this episode very brief. I hope you enjoyed season 1 of Pampering Myself and found our discussions useful. And this year, I'd like to hear from you. So if you have a topic of interest or you'd like to be a guest, please email us at YESTOPMS@gmail.com. That's YESTOPMS@gmail.com. And in the subject line, please put podcast. And then someone will get back with you regarding your interests. Special thanks to our loyal listeners, and we hope you continue to support our podcast by listening. Please remember to hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified when new episodes are uploaded, and you may also forward your episodes to other friends and families. So until next time, stay safe and don't forget to pamper yourself. It's more important now than ever.